Tonight, new insight into Donald Trump's controversial university. A judge in a lawsuit alleging fraud by the business just released nearly 400 pages from the Trump University playbooks, filled with step-by-step pitches on how to convince people to sign up for the quite pricey program. They are documents Trump fought hard to keep sealed. Drew Griffin is out front tonight. Drew, what are you learning delving into these playbook documents?
Jim, the playbooks that just released after being unsealed by this judge on Friday basically instructed Trump University employees, salespeople, on everything from how to set up a room for a class, how to pitch prospective clients, and it's the sales material that's most interesting here. It shows what the lawsuits have been alleging all along, that this school, this real estate school, was less in the business of education, more about the business of making money. Let me show you a few examples. Salespeople were told to go after potential clients with a net worth of $200,000. They went through questions to make sure that these people had that kind of money. Make customers feel special, selecting only that qualified would be able to take a Trump University course. And find out about the people's financial lives, how much credit they had on each card, even what their needs were at home, and encourage them to use the credit cards to pay for tuition. They also said never give customers details about what they will be learning in advance of the training, all while, and this is a quote, being mindful of the ethical and moral impact of our actions. You know, these playbooks were released in just one of the 3 class action lawsuits against Trump University. They're all basically the same, these lawsuits, Jim. The Trump University was a scam. The Trump promised the instructors were experts handpicked by him when, in fact, our own investigation showed that many of them didn't even have real estate experience. And Trump, he loudly denies all this and says the school will reopen when the lawsuits are over, but that will likely be some time from now. The first one of these court cases heads to court at the end of November, so all through this election, Jim, we're also going to be facing increasing releases, documents, testimony, all involving these fraud lawsuits against the Republican presidential nominee.
3 active lawsuits. Drew Griffin, thanks very much. Out front to discuss this more, political commentators Kayleigh McEnany, she's a Donald Trump supporter, Bakari Sellers, he is a Hillary Clinton supporter, Kevin Madden, former Romney campaign advisor and press secretary, and of course David Gergen, he's our senior political analyst. He's been around a few administrations. Kayleigh, if I could begin with you. So Donald Trump asked about the money he raised for veterans. He attacked reporters. Asked about this lawsuit that Drew was reporting on against Trump University. He attacked the judge, calling him biased and noting his Mexican heritage. Are hard questions off limits for Donald Trump?
No, because prior to attacking reporters, he gave reporters what they were asking for. They wanted a dollar-for-dollar accounting of where the veteran money went. He laid out meticulously 41 different veteran organizations that received a total of $5.6 million, even laid out the dollar denominations. And really, I think he's one of the only candidates in political history that can do exactly what you asked for, give an exact accounting, donate himself personally $1 million to veteran funds, but he will still maintain a slew of criticism thereafter. There's a lot of media bias going on, and he was very right to call it out the way he did.
Kevin, as you and I know, attacking the press rarely hurts a politician of either party. Is Trump's style going to work in the general as well as it worked apparently in the primary?
Well, look, I think there is a bit of a risk here. I think media bias is a fact, but I don't think it's a very compelling message. However, many Trump supporters do believe that the media is part of what they would describe as, you know, an establishment axis, and they're part of the problem with Washington. So many of them will look favorably upon Donald Trump taking the fight to the media. But I think the problem for him is that ultimately it still looks very reflexive. It still looks very defensive. If he's going to spend 2-3 days complaining about the media, that's 2 or 3 days where he's not on offense attacking Hillary Clinton or talking about some of the big, issues that he believes are most important for those voters out there who have yet to make up their mind. So while it may work in that sense, there is still some long-term risk.
David, set the media aside, but most folks don't care about it too much. A recent Fox News poll found that a majority of folks believe, 1, Trump does not have strong morals, that he will say anything to get elected, that he's not a reliable leader, that he doesn't care about people like me. The only thing a majority of voters said is that Trump is a strong leader. So here he is, the presumptive nominee. Have voters indicated, in effect, that they like this style? that even if they have those big picture disagreements with him or doubts about him, they're still willing to back him?
Well, many voters like his style, but his challenge now is to expand beyond his base. As I think everyone in this panel would agree, he can't win with just the kinds of people who voted in Republican primaries. He needs to reach out to independents. He needs to get some Democrats. And the fact is, I think if he remains as abrasive, sometimes he seems unhinged, and he resorts to these kind of attacks, I don't think that builds the base. I think it drives the other way around. What we know, America has changed. I know that people are more willing to accept the kind of vulgarity and discourse than they were at one time. But I do think what we know from history is that the kind of leadership that works with the American people in press conferences is that was shown by John Kennedy, or Jack Kennedy, and Ronald Reagan. Both of them had humor. They turned things aside with humor. They did it with respect to the press, and they walked away. A conservative need not be judged harshly in the press if you play it right. Ronald Reagan proved that.
But the media has said consistently that Donald Trump was going to fail. He would never win the primary. There's no chance that he would get more Republican voters than ever in political history. There's no chance he would lead in a general election poll. Meanwhile, the latest 8 polls on Real Clear Politics show that Hillary Clinton has not breached a majority in any of those polls, and in fact, Donald Trump is leading in 3. So everyone who's telling Donald Trump telling him he needs to change, he's doing what he's done so far to get him to this place people said he would never get to.
Bakari, I got to ask your thoughts. How is Hillary going to respond to that?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think David hit the nail on the head. What Kayleigh keeps referring to as a Republican primary, and we're not there anymore. Donald Trump has to, but he has to expand his base. If Donald Trump thinks that he's going to win this election with the typical Republican voter, then he's simply out of touch. But one thing that Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign has done, and I believe Marco Rubio started doing it late in the primary, I believe many of the Republican candidates started doing too late, is simply defining Donald Trump. The fact is, when you look at Trump Airlines, it failed. When you look at Trump Vodka, it failed. Trump Steaks, it failed. Trump University, it failed. I mean, all of these business ventures, everything that Donald Trump has built himself on, have been royal failures. Trump casinos failed. And so this Trump University, the fact that we were having trouble identifying when he actually got the money, who he was giving it to, and he had to be shamed in actually giving it to the veterans, all of this builds into this fact that Donald Trump is a fraud, Donald Trump is a liar. And the fact of the matter is that Hillary Clinton, thanks to some Republicans who showed the way early, started doing this at the beginning, whereas the Republican Party waited until it was too late.
Folks, I want you to hold the thoughts, and you as well, Kayleigh, because we are going to have you back. A lot more to delve into here. Out front next, a lifelong Republican and